Hello, and thank you for tuning in to the Flatirons Syndicate Motorsports Podcast. This show is brought to you by Flatirons Tuning, your source for any aftermarket or OEM Subaru parts. Be sure to check out our store at flatironstuning.com and stay tuned with Flatirons Tuning. All right, folks. Welcome back to the Flatirons Syndicate Podcast. We're here in the shop. We've got Tasso, Viet, here to join us. Podcast. So, topic of the day. So we were talking before we started hitting record here that you're close to having the car functional, getting done, but you got a whole lot of stuff on your mind. You're working on like a couple projects, but one of the ones that you're fighting with right now is the Pikes Peak car.
Oh yeah,
and
many
like,
projects actually.
Yeah. So
I think 3, 4. I don't know how many.
Put in the meme of the guy going, "Whoa."
So we are going to talk about what is on our minds with projects at the moment. Mm-hmm. So, Tasso, you're the guest here, so let's start with what's on your mind. Maybe just list them off, and then we'll kind of pick where we want to start.
I think it's fair to say also this is a backup plan topic.
Sure, fair point.
And I don't feel like taking anything seriously today.
Okay.
So I'm mostly going to be messing with Viet, I think, is my plan for the topic.
Yeah. I think it's something.
He already untied my shoe, which is unsafe if you think about it.
I didn't do anything.
We're lucky that there's not like a OSHA representative here. Otherwise, this podcast would be taken offline immediately.
Oh, my.
Which is good. It's bringing it back to the roots of the podcast.
That's right.
A little bit.
It's more it's conversational.
Yeah. So it's wild to call the condition that my car is in right now getting close, or a car.
Okay.
But it is also kind of true. The short answer is that there's a lot of stuff that is going in for like a final install right now. Like most of the interior bits of the car are in or plumbed. Fuel system's all plumbed up to where it's going to go to the motor from where it is at this point. So all like the surge tank and lines and everything. My fingers are pin cushions right now from making braided lines because there's I don't know, at least 6 so far. Different circuits of things going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that going. That's happening.
There's a lot of little stuff.
A lot of little stuff, but there's still a mock-up short, like not even just a pair of case halves right now, holding the front of the transmission up to get all that lined up.
Right.
Hopefully that motor is done this week or next. Because what's the date today?
24th.
26th. I'm 31 days away from tech inspection. Hopefully.
Okay.
So, and there's no wires in the car at all right now, other than some pigtails.
Wow.
And no motor, and there's kind of not enough sheet metal on the front of the car either. There's no like front fenders or front clip. I have an intercooler core, and a radiator, which is also like a weird custom thing. I don't have a plan. I have a plan, but nothing in place yet to mount the front skid plate. I'm gonna do an integrated lower core support and front skid plate support out of a tube.
Okay.
And all that has to be kind of custom because not only is the skid plate obviously not an OEM bit, but I'm running a 2nd gen legacy radiator and an FD RX-7 intercooler because they have pipes where I want them and stuff, and it was a lot cheaper than getting custom coolers made. So
you got like 30 days.
Yep. Yeah, it's a lot.
Well,
it's a little tight. I'm probably not going to make it.
Well,
that's already, we'll call that what it is. I'm already a year behind on a 1.5-year long project, so it's fine. The goal is still to make the car that I want to make, and then race it the way I want to race it. And so whatever that has to look like, it will look like. But you got to set goals, otherwise you don't accomplish anything. So that's the goal. First race isn't until May, which is 2 months. So plenty of time, whatever.
Yeah.
Wait, is there other tech inspections then?
Yeah, so it's a pain, especially for the technical director for the CHCA. But you can tech at a race when you show up. It's just
Nice.
I set the goal of making tech. I got to be at the tech anyways as the class rep. I don't have to, but I like to be at the tech as a class representative to help like explain some of the intricacies of the rally class versus some of the open wheel cars and stuff. So I show up because our rule book is probably one of the thicker sections of the CHCA stuff to help kind of weed through that stuff. So I wanted to just go ahead and have my car there as well. But we'll see. We'll see, right?
This is one of those. There's a lot of ironic
It's a
bits.
seam ability.
Yeah.
I just
There's
need
a
an
lot of
influencer to help me real quick.
There's a lot of ironic things about building a race car.
A lot of things about a race car.
Well, so there's a lot of ironic things about a race car, but one of them is you really kind of need a schedule and a timeline, even though you know you're probably not going to hit it.
Yeah, that's just a project car thing in general, right?
Yeah, because with almost any aspect of a build, unless you're doing like one or two things, the scope can be just so big that you're just like, nah, not today. I'm gonna play video games today.
Yeah, I spent most of last summer pretty okay with the fact that the cage took 6 months longer than I thought because I just raced mountain bikes and dirt bikes and did stuff like that instead, which was nice to have a break. I've been like focused on the car racing thing for most of a decade now, it seems like. Yeah. So like having a summer off to do other stuff was fine.
And it takes a lot of time, and the more events that you want to hit, the more time it takes. Mm-hmm. And there have been multiple guys where this is where you kind of see guys that come in. They run for a season or two, and then they just they flame out because it's. I remember talking to I won't call him out, but a guy that had a lot of success doing what he was doing, and he just got to the point where he had completely burned his candle at both ends, in the middle, and on each side, and he was just like, can't do it anymore.
And it's expensive to get a Rally America championship.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
If you want to try and get it, good luck.
Yeah.
It is a big challenge, but the thing is like if you have no deadline that you're trying to hit, it's so easy to just kind of.
Yeah, it's an important thing to remember. We've talked about this in general before on the podcast several times. Like to do this because you like doing it, or to remember why you're doing it in the first place. This is essentially a hobby for me.
Right.
I don't make money doing this.
I
spend a lot of my personal money doing this. I enjoy a lot of support from people, and I treat those relationships like with Flatirons very professionally. Or I try to. Other than Viet, other than Viet, I try and treat them, professionally and treat it like, because even though it's not my job, it is your guys' job, right? So it's I try and be respectful of that. But at the end of the day, I have a day job. It has a retirement plan. I work 56 to 72 hours a week outside of car stuff too, right? So it's there's other stuff in my life, and I have to kind of balance that with the car stuff. But I'm like motivated right now to get back into it. Like I'm dying.
A wise person once said, "Moderation in all things."
Yeah,
including moderation.
Yeah, and I am like.
But that's one of the formulas I think for long-term success with cars is you've got to when you start to feel like you're just overwhelmed, you got to take a step back.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of people also, or like with Jeremy and Cameron and the Money Shift guys or other folks in the past. I just bring them up because Jeremy was supposed to be here today.
Yeah. And life came up.
Whatever, Jeremy.
I have Jeremy.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Like, it's a great example of someone who has stuff outside of this. He's got responsibilities too. Yeah. But a lot of folks, when they get in, they're very motivated. I was the same way. I ignored a lot of advice that people gave me, good advice on the way in. And I kind of was able to power through some of those things that I should have paid attention to. But a lot of the advice I give people is like, you're setting up for a marathon here. This isn't a sprint.
Yeah.
Like it's okay to rush to make an event, especially if that's part of what you love about rally is like the last minute, late nights, the, whatever engine swaps at service overnight or whatever, then fine. Yeah. Do that stuff because you love it. But overall you're setting up for a marathon, not a sprint, right? It's, you're doing more than one event, and people do come in hot, burn out on one event. Burn out on one season, burn out on one build, crash in the first corner, and then barely recover. Right? It's even within the little CHCA, we've had a rally build, not the company rally build, but a car that was built for the rally class, and they came to their very first event and crashed in the very first corner, their very first run.
Oof.
Um,
It does
it
happen.
happens. It
It
happens,
does
right?
happen.
It's whether it's you see the red mist or you just weren't ready for it, or sometimes racing shit happens, right? It's a very dynamic event, gravel hill climb, and
Yeah.
sometimes you make mistakes. Professional drivers crash also
Oh, yeah.
at CHC
Yeah.
events. So
And weird stuff happens. I mean, when you're pushing a car, just weird stuff happens.
yeah,
It's
Yep.
you cannot overstate just that. And it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's such like that should be the mantra. Like
Mhm.
every car guy should have that, crocheted on a pillow
Yeah.
in their house. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Mhm.
Because
There's a bunch of cliches. We can make getting into racing cliche pillows.
pardon the
Sell
hands
them.
worth two in the garage.
Yeah, first nut you should work on is the one behind the wheel or whatever.
Right. Yeah, tighten
all
all the
that kind of
stuff behind
stuff.
the wheel. Yeah.
Seat time,
Yeah.
seat time,
Yeah.
whatever.
Time,
slow in, fast out, late apex, all that kind of shit.
But it's so important to have this perspective because it's so easy to get tunnel vision on something like not in the racing world. In the racing world, the tunnel vision is usually an event.
Mhm.
Like I'm going to do everything. I'm going to do everything possible to move mountains to get to this event. And like the street world usually ends up being power. Like people get obsessed with like 500 horsepower.
Right.
Then
you're gonna get there and you're gonna be like, yeah, but I could have done 600, right?
Well, or like
more.
you break stuff. You get there and you hate the car. I mean, there's so many.
Suddenly
things.
you're like, someone said it to me early on because I was that same person. Like, but the red car transition from daily into race car, and it was pretty race car-y while I was still dailying it. And someone told me, "Oh man, I bet it's only a matter of time before you start driving around like a cheap Impreza as a daily because this thing's gonna be too much." And at the time, I was like, "No way, I'm hardcore as hell. Like I'm gonna drive my race car forever."
Yeah.
I was still commuting in at the time. And sure enough, like next thing I know, I'm making shitty old Imprezas to use as dailies, or I'm upgrading the tow vehicle to something that's a little bit more dailyable, so that
to be fair, your
that.
prior tow vehicle a couple of times lost a wheel.
Yeah.
And that's usually one of the criteria for a successful tow vehicle.
Yeah, not just
is
once.
4 wheels.
Yeah.
I mean,
it never fell all the way off with the trailer on the truck, which was good.
with the trailer on the truck.
Yeah, but it did fall off and pass me a couple times on the highway. A rear tire. So that was
that's not good.
That was how professional my driving career started.
Yeah.
I generally, God, man, the number of times the Subarus are reliable cars, and you would think Cummins Dodges would be also, but the number of times I'd get to a race, and I'd be working in all of my free time between runs and stuff on the tow vehicle to make it home, because I'd make it there and like we'll have lost electrics or lost a wheel or lost a transmission, and I'm sitting there like just trying to band-aid stuff enough to get it home.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, I know I'm gonna drive home without any lights on the car because that's all burnt out. So I gotta try and make sure I can drive home, in daylight, and stuff like that, or flashlights and stuff. So, yeah.
Good tow vehicle.
Sweet.
Like
Get a good tow vehicle. It's another pillow we can do.
Yeah.
But it's been good, and I wouldn't, anything about the process, I wouldn't trade it because it's got me to where I am now. And even the hiccups that have come on this new build, wouldn't trade them either because it's going to be a cool car, and it's I'm excited to drive it.
And it's one of those things too where you now know enough that that you're moving in the right direction in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
It's just now you're there's almost no step until like the engine's in the car, the key is on, and it's running. And even then, like there's nothing that's set in stone, and there's probably still tons of things that can be improved.
Totally. Subframes are still low-hanging fruit for me. I just don't have the money or time to put fancy subframes in it. But I'm going to be thinking. But fortunately, at least those are things that are bolted on the outside, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's not. The red car had stuff that was welded in place, or cage was built around something that wasn't great. So.
So with that, how do you prioritize what the next thing you work on is? I mean, You know where you're at. You're like, you said you're running the interior lines. I mean, that's you're running new interior lines for the brakes. Well, that's kind of important because you can't put the brakes on the car to get them to be functional until the lines inside that connect everything are there. So you're getting through that point. How do you decide what the next thing to work on is?
Yeah. So there's a global kind of concept of order of operations for getting the car together.
Yeah.
Order of operations. I do have a general order of operations for.
No.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yeah. Yep.
Whatever's newest, shiniest, coolest.
This is whatever's big or convenient.
Mm-hmm.
And takes less work.
Yeah.
He doesn't like work.
No, I don't like working on cars. See earlier where I said this is a hobby. It's supposed to be fun.
Well, that can make sense. I mean, something that's quick and easy that you can scratch off the list. I mean, that's
I get it.
Not insignificant.
Yeah. No, there are certainly. Okay, I have a general order of operations for how stuff just some stuff just has to go a certain way, right? Like you can't bleed brakes before you have brake lines, for example, right?
Sure.
As an example, something like that.
Yep.
Or
Makes
stuff
sense.
like you got to paint it before you put seats in it. Otherwise, it's just stupid. So like there is general stuff like that. Other than that, man, like it's whatever is least horrible to think about doing that day is kind of what I work on.
What do you have all the parts to actually do?
Okay, what I'm not waiting for parts for, or because especially once everything becomes custom, then a lot of stuff takes a lot of fiddling, and it may take 2 or 3 trips to the hardware store to get the right length bolt for a certain thing to not interfere or something like that. Especially because not only is everything custom, but everything is also very crowded where I'm putting it, because part of the ethos with this build was to like centralize mass, lower center of gravity, all this kind of stuff. So as a result, like the tunnel is very busy. And also it's a safe place to put stuff that you don't want to get wrecked in either bouncing down rocks or crushing stuff.
Just a little bit of real estate there in the middle.
But yeah. So if you're trying to sneak, wiring and fuel and extinguisher lines and put a battery there in a nice protected place where it's not going to get crushed, and a fire bottle and the seat belts, fuel rails take up space and they're mounting kind of stuff. I have 2 sprayer bottles behind my seat for the cooler sprayers and for a windshield sprayer. So there's a lot of stuff that all has to hide there. What I'm
imagining your car is looking like?
It's just a cluster of just shit in the middle, and then a big open space, and then the outside. Yeah, it's a lot like if you just took everything off your garage floor, swept it into a pile, and then put a cage around it as far away as you could, kind of thing. So it's a lot to fit in that space. So there's been a lot. Like the seats have gone in and out like 3 or 4 times. Which is also a pain because to get to those offside bolts means sticking your hand through that pile of stuff in the middle and then trying to make sure stuff's not going to rub through or interfere or, wiring too when you start, crossing up, certain signal wires versus other things that are, signal for alternator control and stuff like that. And a bunch of noisy electronics. And then, ignition stuff, injector stuff, for example, is very noisy.
You said this was a hobby?
Yeah, right. It's a passion, right?
You have to take the good, the bad.
Yeah, so this is all this pays off that first time that you pitch it, it sets into a corner, and you sit on rev limiter for a minute, and it makes cool noises, and it throws dirt, and there's a cameraman right there, and he gets a cool clip or a video or a picture or something like that.
Yeah.
Then it's all the shredded fingers and money. It's all about the clip.
Yes.
So I don't know why I do it, man. Don't ask that question.
With the gram.
I don't know what I'm doing anymore. It's cool. I like it. I really miss doing it. So it's a good sign.
That's a good sign.
It's a good sign.
So,
absolutely. Yeah.
And there's things like even along that process, right? Like for example, I just put like the B-pillar outside trim and like that little black plastic weather strip trim holder piece along the side of the car. Like putting that on the side of the car suddenly makes it a lot more car looking, weirdly, right?
It's not just an empty shell.
It's not just a big hunk of metal out there with different shaped pieces of metal on it. Now it has like trim shit on it. So it is weight, I know, but the window's got to close and like stay. If anyone out there has a good solution for eliminating that strip,
You get rid of windows. That also saves weight.
Yeah, it's not great aerodynamically, and the windows are pretty light. I got plastic windows, so those are good. If someone has a cool solution for like not running that weather strip, but still sealing the windows and making the car look good.
LGDs is a super challenge because there's no
frame on the window.
Frame on the window,
yeah,
so it's
right?
just bare glass that has to come into the car.
I already don't run the trim in like the rain gutter thingy, like where the like roof rack would attach and stuff like that. I don't run that trim, so don't worry. The underside of the roof isn't painted to save weight.
Okay.
So
Where else are you saving weight?
I'm not gonna paint the hood, the bumper. The fenders probably will get paint on the outside up front because they're steel. I want the roof to slowly rust away from the inside. Rules wise, I have to run a metallic roof.
Right. Organic weight savings.
Or so a little organic weight savings will be fine. But like I won't paint like the aluminum stuff, or like the plastic stuff because it'll get graphics. So there's a lot of holes drilled and stuff already. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Only so many speed
Speed
holes for sure. Our rules are very specific about like the strength of the unibody, essentially within the area outlined by the cage. We have wording that includes words like backstays and stuff like that, and down bars and stuff. But it's the idea is that in the design of these cages, the unibody of the car is a structural member in terms of the safety that's built, like the way that they're tested and safe. So we can't compromise the strength of the unibody kind of within like the capsule of the car. But outside that, yeah, fuck yeah, it's a paper mache. So it's
nice.
Yeah, nothing nice and light. I'm still targeting 2,500 and some pounds.
Wow. With
2 seats, FIA cage and safety, fire system, gravel suspension, gravel wheels and tires.
And driver.
2.5. No. We'll blow that out of the water. I'm not a light person. It would be way cheaper just to work out more, but like I said, I don't like working.
Okay.
Low effort, high payoff. That's where I'm at. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
way easier just to work a day of overtime and buy a lighter part. So,
okay.
I'm doing it all. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
But
So
you
there's
compound that though.
Yeah, I could okay, Viet.
Get the car running first,
Yeah,
and then you can hit the gym.
Why don't you get your sequential to work and then
It
and
is
then talk
working.
trash. Yeah, sure.
It goes 1 through 6.
Yep.
And then 6 down to 1.
Which is technically sequential. You're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sounds good.
So
Call it
let's bring it back to that because Viet, what you're working on is the Pikes Peak car. You're working on the rally car for a bit.
Yep.
Now we're working on the Pikes Peak car. Now, and speaking of deadlines, because as we're recording this, Tasso, the day that we're recording this is March 26th. And so we've got like 90 days until the hill climb.
Like, was it June 23rd?
Yeah.
Is the hill climb?
Something
But we
like
need it done.
ton of time.
A month before that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
Even then, we need it done before that so we can test it, so we can be on the mountain to test it.
Yeah. And so, yeah.
Uh,
Go ahead. Where are we at, Viet? Just bring the people at home up to speed.
So we're in the process of doing the sequential right now. We just got it running. Goes to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yep.
Goes back down just as easy. But the issue we have right now is the reverse lockout.
Yeah.
And going into neutral and reverse right now.
So there's a lockout to prevent you from like as you're moving the lever from accidentally going into say neutral or reverse.
Yeah. So like you go from 1 to neutral to reverse, right?
Yeah.
With that lockout. But right now it's not working.
So
And I don't know the way if it's like internal. I think it's internal.
It's gotta be
It's
internal.
pointing towards being internal.
It's like a bicycle cable, and on
Yeah.
this end, all there is a lever that you pull the cable, and then the cable goes in to the transmission, and magical things happen, and things are locked out or are not.
Maybe we just need to put more like magical stuff in there.
Yeah.
Just like
Honestly, I mean, just
You tried just hitting it really hard.
there is no reverse.
How many times did you try?
Well, I
going
mean, you
past
can
the
go.
line?
You can reverse.
You're just sitting there, just like
No.
if
No, just
someone,
always forward.
if you just
get pushed.
pushed.
Yeah.
Yeah, just push. Somebody pushes us
At
back.
that point, your race run's already
Yeah,
wrecked,
well,
so
yeah. So if you're going in reverse while in a race,
you should
you're
quit.
done.
Yeah.
might as well just do a U-turn and just like take a stroll.
Yeah, just go back to the start.
Yeah.
You
Or
can-
just hitch.
So
hitch
you know what
the
I
ride
just
down.
realized? We have to pull it onto the trailer with no reverse. We can't get it off the trailer.
Yeah, but you have people
Yeah,
around.
I guess
no,
you can push it
you-
off.
You
You can
can
push it
gotta
off
be
the
it,
trailer.
yeah.
You just
It just
have to have
rolls.
someone push the clutch in, and you can just
Okay.
roll
Man,
it down the hill.
This
You don't
doesn't
even
seem
have
like that
neutral.
much of a problem anymore.
Oh man. Well, at least you like doing Subaru drivetrains, right?
Oh, that's,
So
yeah.
There you
Subaru-
go.
Subarus
Tasso,
are
you
the
could come
best.
help. It's
No,
like,
oh,
yeah,
hitting
you're
I
the
you're
could
gym.
an
for
expert.
sure, yeah.
You've had way more experience than that.
Well, no,
Yeah,
you're talking
yeah.
about hitting the gym and losing weight. I mean, hefting that transmission in and out of the car. It's good
Yeah.
exercise.
I do normally just push 6 speeds up into the car.
I've seen them. I've helped them.
Yeah.
I helped by watching.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Back when you used to come work on my car too.
Yeah.
It's no big deal, I guess. It's just we're not friends anymore. So,
What are friends?
what are friends for if not
Oh.
Subaru transmission stuff?
Jeez. Your transmission's already in.
Yeah.
You don't need me.
Yeah. Well, you were there,
I was there. Yeah.
but it didn't help.
I handed you a bolt.
That's true, actually. It was
Sometimes-
Actually, my brother was
it's
there
always
too.
good.
Sometimes an extra set of hands. is-
Yeah. I brought multiple hands.
Yep.
Some were not mine.
That can be extremely valuable.
Mm-hmm. And how about your personal race car?
I'm gonna
My
preemptively.
Somebody coming in?
Yeah.
Come on. Personal race
A
cars.
customer?
What's a personal race car?
Yeah. You have what is the best performance Subaru chassis of all time. You have your own. You have a
Is that-
GD. You have a GD
Is that
Subaru.
is that what you call that?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
best performing?
That's what he does.
The best performing Subaru chassis of all time. The GD.
Really?
The pinnacle of Subaru motorsports.
Why do you say that?
For a bunch of
What
reasons.
are you basing this
Every
on?
time I say this on the podcast, someone calls me a know-it-all. So I'm not saying anything
No,
anymore.
say it, because I know you
No.
know it all.
This is gonna probably be off the record or on the side, whatever. But
Put it on the record.
it's all right.
I do know it
Put this
all.
on the record. All right.
I don't know.
The
man.
double McPherson.
Tasso knows more than me.
It's the double McPherson suspension.
I mean, I don't know about street stuff. I
What is-
have
what is
no
that?
idea if it's a good street car or not. Actually, I know it's not. They're really good street cars. I take it
Define
back. I
street
take it
cars.
back. They're great cars. The GD is the pinnacle of auto. It's the ultimate driving machine, as it were.
And everything.
They're smaller.
Just
They're lighter.
Uh-huh.
And if you optimize the suspension geometry, it's easier to optimize because it's McPherson.
but
And you have a lot
Aren't-
more latitude because it's
They're
Arms,
simple. They're easy to make go
VAs
fast.
and
They're light.
VBs similar in weight now.
the VB is similar in weight now. Yes.
There's a bunch of
VAs
2,500 pound
were heavier.
VBs kicking around.
Hmm?
There's a bunch of 2,500 pound VBs.
I'm
kicking
sure you
around.
can get it to 2,500 pounds. There's so much bullshit in there.
Well, but so to that, Viet, how are we working through the sequential? Like what are we doing? What is the plan? Do we have a plan?
Take it out.
Yeah, that's probably what we're gonna have to do is take it out, and then we're gonna obviously have to pull the sleeve off, figure out what's going on with the lockout. But
Yeah.
I think that's the game plan.
Because the lockout on that is not the same as your 6-speed lockout.
Nothing
No,
like
it's
this.
not
It goes
close.
into the sandwich plate.
It does.
area.
Yep, correct. And it could have gotten unattached, or it was maybe improperly.
It's bound up on something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we'll have to take it apart and figure it out. But in the meantime, we have other things to do, like a splitter
Well, and
and
this,
an oil cooler.
this actually comes back to order of operations
Yes.
because, and this is kind of a race car thing. It's like you've got to have like a plan A, and you got to have at least a plan B.
Everything in plan A and B is going to fail.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
that's
So
where
you got to
that's
go
it.
all the way down to like G.
Yeah.
Plan G. Plan G.
Yeah.
Before you start making progress, and now
Yeah.
you're broke.
That's right.
Sorry.
No, that's plan F.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Plan
'Cause it's-
G is winning the lottery, so you can like pump a whole bunch of money into.
Mm.
You know,
there you go.
I don't know if I could pay someone to build the car I'm building because I'm too particular about too many things. Like,
if you won the lottery, you can actually pay somebody to build it, and you can just sit over their shoulder and like, no,
yeah, don't
no,
do
that
that
again. Do that
Do
again.
that different.
Do
That sounds
again.
inefficient though.
That does sound pretty inefficient. I could just have a bunch of money.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't
but
know.
if
Or
you
you
had
just pay
unlimited-
yourself to do it for yourself.
Yeah,
with
that's
your
not
own
how
money.
money works. Dude.
Man, if only. Like, back to the problem with this being a hobby, but the reason, like the sequential for me has been, I've been excited for it and also really apprehensive about it.
Mm-hmm.
I resisted getting a sequential for a while.
It comes with a lot of stuff.
And a lot of complexity, and this reverse issue is a perfect example of the complexity that concerned me.
Yeah.
So the contingency that we have is a non-sequential transmission. So that's the whole reason that we put the standalone in and got the car running and tuned it with the standard transmission is now we have all of that architecture in place. So now we put the sequential in, we add to some of the things in the ECU and get the sequential work, knock wood. But we've got the architecture for pulling it back out again. It's like that's like one of the contingencies is either you have two sequentials or you have to be able to fall back and put the car back to a standard transmission. And so we've got a reasonable framework for that. So that's one of the contingencies here that we're working through.
Which is easily done.
Yeah. Well,
from a Honda guy.
But if we would have put the sequential, the standalone in and not tune the car to run without the sequential, then we could, that's why we did it in the order that we did, so that we can very easily go back and revert to just a standard transmission.
But nothing is worse than doing a thing, getting all the way to the end-ish, and then figuring out that you need to undo it all.
It seems to happen
all the time.
A lot.
All the time when you don't plan on it.
It's nothing worse than it, but it happens
all the time.
Yeah.
100% of the time.
Back to the marathon, not a sprint. You've got to know that everything you're doing to your car, you're going to do it at least 4 times.
All those fuel lines I just talked about, pin cushioning my fingers.
Yeah.
I'm planning on half of them leaking because I'm just not good at AN lines. I don't know what.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they don't actually all half leak in my experience. But some of them are a pain to get to if I have to get them back out and realign it.
But way easier to plan on all of them leaking and having to redo all of them, and then you find, hey, only one is leaking.
Be happy that only
just one is leaking. I only have to remake one of these lines. That's a huge win.
And that's just, there's already JB welded in the car. Don't worry about it. It's not doing fuel stuff though. And that's just one project, right? The car is 100% those projects for my situation right now. So that's just the fuel line part. That's not including I don't know what else comes up, right? You're going to find brake line leaks or
another car to buy.
Or I found a thing that's broken somewhere that I didn't know about before.
When you're pushing a car, you break stuff. I mean, anything that you break, you got to go in there, you got to figure it out, you got to pull it out, fix it. I mean, that was another one of my reservations with the sequential is, I mean, it is, when they work well, it works real well. And there's a lot of benefits to it, but the wear and tear on a sequential is significantly more than on a standard.
Yeah. That being said, though, that car doesn't get that many miles, though, right?
It doesn't.
Yeah, it
doesn't. But
it's going to need a rebuild every couple seasons if it's doing one event or 2 events.
Yeah, but the problem is, the other part of the problem with the Pikes Peak car is it only goes to a couple events a year, and all of those events are either a long tow from here or really expensive. Right. And so, when you're just going to a track day and you pull up to the track day and I've done 3 laps and something is wrong, I need to just limp the car home and start over. Not a big deal, but when you're paying multiple thousands of dollars of an entry fee and for hotels and everything like that, the stakes are so much higher. That's where for that car especially, you need a couple backup plans.
Yeah, same. My first event is a 4.5 hour tow from home. So I won't do that probably unless I get a chance to test the car first.
Is that Lanes in?
Rangeley.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's way out there, and it's really cool, but it's not the kind of place where you get out there and you realize that your cam seal is leaking or something like that, right?
Right.
You can't go run to. I mean, you could. It's just you're driving to Grand Junction or Vernal, Utah, to go get a cam seal or something like that, or and it's bring one along, a spare, or whatever. But the whole car's worth you can't bring.
No.
So it's I want to get some miles on my car before that point. It's okay if it's not sorted completely.
Right. You just want to have some.
But you don't want to make your shakedown at Pikes Peak or at an event that's a day's drive away or something like that. So.
Yeah, I mean the more expensive it is to get to the event, the more important shakedown and testing is before you head out there.
Yep. Yeah, and my goal like I've said in the past, my goal for this car is to just dominate. Simple enough, right? But I don't expect that right off the bat, right? Like I don't expect to have a perfect season this season, just because there's so much new.
Attitude.
Well, yeah, okay. I do expect to have a perfect, but no, I don't. I don't expect to have a perfect season this season. I would like to have good luck at Land's End. I think I'm undefeated there. At the hill climb in the class, anyways, and I've been within a half second of an overall win there, I think. So I'd like to overall Land's End this year, and that's other than like these other goals, make tech inspection, try and make the whole season, sure, whatever, stuff like that. It's win Land's End. It's kind of the banner event for our series. It's steeped in history. It's the third oldest motorsport event in the country. It is the best, probably gravel hill climb in this hemisphere, or maybe 3 hemispheres around us, just not including Australia and stuff like that.
3 hemispheres?
I mean, yeah. Not
3
hemispheres, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, not counting second Earth,
Okay.
which is Australia, I think, or New Zealand. Like, I have a pretty cool like gravel hill climb
New Zealand would technically
championship
be
down there.
Middle Earth.
Yeah, Oceania.
Yeah.
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 So, whatever. This podcast is off the rails.
It is.
Just don't listen to this episode. Or if this is your first episode, the rest of them have a topic. I don't know. This one.
This is what happens when you just you're working on race cars and your brain just becomes
Didn't
overrun
know
by
how
race
much we
car
needed
shenanigans.
Jeremy, I guess is what it was.
No.
This is great.
It was gonna go off the rails no matter what.
This is amazing.
Good.
Oh,
I don't know, man.
No, it's fine.
Race car stuff.
What is this is race car stuff. I mean that's the thing is that this is
almost a therapy session also.
Kind of with a race car you need a therapy session.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it can be overwhelming. I mean for me, like Viet has a race car, but you haven't run. You've got a plan.
No.
Wait,
No,
are you gonna
not real good plan. Because I keep buying other shit for other cars.
for a trash car?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I bought another car. Now I'm trying to get that to run.
And be the track car. It's like it's distracted you from the track car, which is the Civic.
Yeah.
But
But I'm still buying stuff where I bought brakes for it.
Mm-hmm.
For the
Nice.
Subaru?
For the Civic.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Some sweet Porsche brakes.
Oh boy.
Is that still a big crazy project? Or
It is. It's gonna be a crazy project. I haven't.
it's been like a year since you talked about.
I know. It's been like 2 years.
And that snuck in. I guess most people haven't
It's been
watched
like
that
2
podcast.
years. I think 2 years. No, maybe longer.
Well, because you
I
pulled
think
the engine out, you sold the engine. Now you're trying to do the K swap.
The motor's done. Transmission's here. I just gotta put those two things together. But now that I'm working on all these other cars,
No time.
no time. Yeah. So I have to do it while I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
That's
Which is fine because it's a Honda.
You know.
What you need is you need a hypnotist that can actually hypnotize you to think that when you're working on the Honda that you're asleep,
Ugh.
and then you get everything done, and then when you get done working on the Honda, then you wake up and you feel totally rested, and you can just go about your normal
Hondas are
life.
boring enough that you probably could just sleep and work on them.
You could.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
No. At least it's not stressful.
Oh.
You know.
Oh.
I'm not giving you
I was
into
hoping
that.
to trigger.
I'm not falling into that trap.
Alright. Fine.
Oh man, what's this guy?
Lost.
Huh?
But yeah, now I own a GD.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
good. You're finally graduated to adulthood.
No, I'm like it's been lots of pain and suffering.
Yeah.
But that's what happens when you buy 2 shitty GDs and try to make one
Been there, dog.
good one.
There.
And then, yeah.
That's
But
good though.
well, so
Is
so,
it?
What are you?
Is this
You're acting like you're
I'm like sitting here like damn.
survived trauma or something like that.
Damn. Like,
well, so what keeps you going in this then?
and
I mean, I've seen you like clocking out, going to the back, like I'm going to do this tonight, and like there's still a reasonable amount. In fact, I would say almost unreasonable amount of excitement in a lot of the stuff that you're doing. So there's still a motivation there. There's still enjoyment there.
Is it because
It's a lot
all
closer.
Honda guys dream of being a Subaru owner?
Oh,
At some point.
Why did I buy 2 GDs?
Because they're the best.
No, it's because I wanted to save this car. Honest, yeah.
Like,
That's
yeah,
what I
I mean,
said.
you know
It
what?
was selflessness.
I wanted to save Alex's car because it was a good car and it was gonna get smashed. Or like crushed.
Who's gonna do that?
He was gonna send
'Cause it
off
was-
to
it was
jump.
totaled.
Yeah, he got totaled.
You got rear-ended
Yeah,
when the car
rear-ended.
was totaled out.
Have you still not titled the car?
I have a title.
Okay. Did someone else go through the salvage title stuff for it, or did you have to do that?
No,
too?
it's not salvage title because the
other shell.
the shell
Oh,
was
you
clean.
swapped all that stuff.
Yeah,
into,
yeah,
okay.
And it wasn't a
okay.
salvage title. It was non-repairable.
Oh,
So
bummer.
you
Yeah.
couldn't even get a salvage title on it. That's
Oh.
why he had to get the other
That
shell.
sucks. Okay.
Yeah.
So you did your duty, even though you're a Honda person and don't have a soul, to
I'm not
to
redheaded.
protect the what would Subaru be to a Honda? The deities. You did your thing to protect the deities of the automotive world to keep a GD on the road.
Man.
That makes sense, and that
I
explains
was-
also why you're motivated.
Well,
It's zealot.
I think it's
You're
because
zealot.
as a
That's what it
car guy,
Is that what it is?
Yeah, you're a zealot.
one of
I'm
the
a super
traps
zealot.
from a car
Wow.
guy or for any car guy is to know that there is a deal on a car that has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like if you
My Facebook Marketplace is wild right now with stuff
Oh.
I really don't need. I saved
We should do a video on that.
No, I just scroll
I'll
through.
just
Like,
what you see on your
Uh-huh.
Facebook Marketplace.
there's so many like old motorcycles and tractor stuff. I don't know, man. I'm into a lot of weird stuff. So
he
Did you
lives
buy
up,
your train yet?
he lives up in the boonies.
mhm.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
How much snow did you get a couple weeks ago? Like 3 feet, 4 feet of snow.
More than that, 61 inches. So
It's 5 feet of snow.
Yeah.
Like you need a tractor to have even a fighting chance of clearing some of that stuff.
yeah. I got a Dodge. It's no big deal.
No big deal. Okay.
On 3 wheels.
It's got a ranch hand bumper. No. Okay. I guess they wouldn't know that because they're whatever. I have another Dodge now that has all the wheels.
All four.
So
She
take
get
it
it
easy.
She get it doing.
Take it
just
easy.
in case.
Just in case got spare wheels.
Yeah.
The failures that happened would have just lost both dual wheels.
It was the inner bearing that fails both wheels.
Yeah, one lost. Yeah, the whole hub. Another one.
We're so into
Another
the
one
weeds.
just shredded
This
wheels
is
like
great.
the lugs all off. Yeah, that's what you get when
You buy me.
you try and talk about Hondas.
me and Tasso.
This is why you don't have to worry about sleeping
All right,
because
so let's
I don't.
let's
Honestly.
try and bring it back.
Let's bring it-
Let's
yeah,
bring it.
where
Let's
were
bring
we?
it back. Bring it
Buy
back.
Hondas.
so we figured out you have your GD because it's the right thing to do, and we've all known that. But I'm glad to see you see it now.
Don't quite see it all the way.
Mm.
Maybe 50-50.
Well,
Yeah.
but your plan with the GD is to take it to the track and have fun with it.
Now it is. Because I keep getting parts to do that.
And to a certain extent,
People keep giving me parts.
Now it is.
So, like, I have to put... I don't want those parts to sit around, right? No one here wants that to sit around.
why not?
Not at all. Yeah.
So why not put it to use, right?
But here's the beautiful thing: is when you take it to the track, like your mentality is going to be totally different because you can just flog the thing.
Well, I would flog it anyways.
Well, yeah.
With it, whoever's car it was.
Yeah.
Especially Tasso's.
Sure.
If you
But
let
no
me.
one drives my cars. Yeah.
Right.
That's why.
But I mean, so you're going to go out there, use the car, have fun,
Yeah.
use it for what it was designed to do.
Exactly. And if it breaks, whatever. Right?
Right.
So,
It's just all that work you put into it would go down the drain, you know.
I had my fun.
You can
That's all it's for, right?
And or you can find another shell, or you find
Or,
some
yeah.
other crazy person that's willing to buy the car and another
What?
shell.
All right.
205s, you get those for like $500, right?
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Burn 'em.
Nobody wants those.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
I'll take them all.
D series of Subaru motors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How do you know? You knew some Honda stuff. That's
I
amazing.
learned out. You ever
Facebook Marketplace.
the movie The Other Guys where he like learns how to dance sarcastically to make fun of other kids?
Uh-huh.
That's like me with Honda stuff.
Nice.
I didn't mean
man.
to. I know a lot about the NFL for some reason. To make fun of a guy at work. No Honda stuff to make fun of you. I don't know what I'm doing with my life.
Weird.
Please save me.
He's not toxic.
Help.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys
Toxic
should
Tasso.
you guys should This is my therapy, all right? God,
Mhm.
take it easy.
It's
I don't
all
know if I
fun.
don't know if we
It's
can
all
get this thing
fun.
back on the rails. I don't know if the
No.
rails are even exist for this anymore.
This
No, but that's what the podcast was.
Can be
Some time
again.
ago, right?
Yeah.
What podcast episode is this?
This
yeah.
is 130.
We're getting back to the
8?
roots here.
Welcome back
To
to
the roots.
Flatirons Tuning Podcast, episode 138. That's all been a cold open. We're doing a throwback episode.
45-minute cold open.
We're doing a 5-year
Thanks,
anniversary maybe episode right now. I don't know
How long?
How long have we been
How
podcasting?
long have we been doing the podcast?
4 years? Because
Oh, shit.
we started pre-pandemic,
Mhm.
and then, but just, I think we had like 10 episodes or something like that before the pandemic. Then everything shut down. There was a break. We realized we could use Zoom to record the podcast. Then that's when it all started up again. So yeah, it was basically, I think, end of 2019 is when it started, and then here we are, 2024. So it's
Yeah.
been over 4 years.
That flies.
Yeah, but only 130 episodes. So we definitely missed a lot of time.
Mm-hmm. Because those Patreons have been slacking.
That's right. It's true. You know, podcasts are
It's
hard.
Patreon?
Yeah. Here we are talking about nothing for an hour.
No podcast isn't that.
Although, if you would like racing cliche embroidered pillows,
Let us know.
holler at your boys.
Yeah, yeah. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Also, TM. Our TM, registered trademark.
Yep.
This is our idea, patent pending.
Yep.
I don't know if you actually have to have a patent pending to say that, but.
Yeah,
are.
well,
Let's just say it so that we've got it.
Yeah.
That way we have it if we need it, and if it doesn't mean anything,
The patent, the pending is pending.
I don't think you can patent a pillow, anyways.
Or
but,
same.
but
Yeah.
dibs? I don't know.
Dibs? Yeah, dibs.
Yeah. Don't
We
fuck with our
literally
dibs.
called dibs on the
Right.
pillow. Yes.
Yeah. So when we're all rich watching someone else work on our cars while we look over their shoulder, just know it's because you bought a pillow that we haven't made yet.
Here's
So
you know, maybe as we're circling the end, this
Oh,
is the
there's no
bombshell
end.
that we can end on this, which is this is how you know if you're a car guy. Because if you win the lottery and you want to pay somebody to work on your car,
you're still gonna be there.
you're not an actual car guy. If you won the lottery so you can just spend all your time working on the car,
That's fair.
then you're a car guy.
Yeah, good. Good.
The more you know. It's all about perspective.
I was hoping in this podcast to seem more professional and like I deserve to be here, but instead, I've just been
Not with me and
trash
you.
talker. Yeah, that's a good point.
No
It was
way,
a bad
dude.
idea.
You
Bad idea
invited
having-
me.
have
to
bad
do
idea
this.
having Viet on. Whatever.
I
Here we
said
are.
no,
Yeah.
but I said it. Then you convinced me, or you guys convinced me. I was like,
Oh, It's
okay.
good to have.
Well, you've been working
You
on
know,
the you've
It's
been
good to
working
have
on
a
the Pikes
Honda
Peak car.
person's impression on
You've
stuff
been
every
working.
once
Yeah,
in a while.
I thought you were going to bring a valuable perspective.
And
I
we were
bring
wrong.
it-
Yeah. So.
You did. It's just we couldn't quite get there.
Nah, yeah, we don't have to sugarcoat it.
We
I
got the
bring
rails.
I bring
We got the
many
rails.
valuable things.
Yeah. Sometimes not as much.
No. Okay. All right. Well, I'm.
You know,
I think-
scales
You pulling
go
the plug on it?
you know?
I think I'm pulling the
I
plug.
don't know.
I want to say, check out OTC Racing, Instagram, Facebook, all the socials. See what he's up to. Follow his build. It's close. See if he can make it in the next 30 days to 60 days.
Mm-hmm.
Just gotta make them work.
Remember when we talked about that in this podcast?
Yeah.
Just gotta make them work.
Yeah. If you have ideas for topics,
I guess. Yeah. Sure. Let us know. Put them in the comments.
If
If
you
you've
think-
listened to this point,
Congrats.
put
you
hash-
realize that we need help.
hashtag it's a marathon, and then put in your suggestion. And if you've listened to this point, we will absolutely consider it.
Mm-hmm. I think it's
If
shout
it's a
out.
marathon, shouldn't we? Should
Well,
we
no,
keep
see, I
going
have-
with this episode
This would be-
until
this would
we
be a
make something?
really
No, it's
fast
not that the
marathon.
episode is a marathon. They
Oh.
need to know
It's
what the
feeling like a
hashtag
marathon.
is, so that we know that they know that they
Ah.
watched. Or we know that they watched. So hashtag it's a marathon. Give us your topic. and
If you have a running
we'll-
tally of how many hallmarks of a successful podcast we've done wrong this podcast, go ahead and throw those up as well.
I believe it's 6.
Yeah, because that's all the
Oh, it's-
hallmarks.
Yep.
All 6.
Well, there's at least 6.
What do I know?
But stay tuned to our social media to see if we can get our Pikes Peak car up and running. See if we can sort out our sequential
Oh.
woes.
It'll be running.
You know, it'll be running.
It'll be running.
If you want to be on the podcast and you can state your case via YouTube comment. Yep.
I don't know about that one.
Yep. Nope. I'll read them. You don't have to. Don't worry. I know I opened
Hashtag-
up. I know I
hashtag
opened up the
OTC.
can right there.
Yeah.
Let's see them worms. You know what I
Hashtag
mean?
OTC
So,
Racing
yeah.
and why you should be a guest. Sure.
That's good. Yeah. Or find me on, don't DM me though, because I don't always see those come in. So do it on the YouTube comments.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah,
So,
put them in our YouTube comments. I'll direct them to Tasso.
yeah.
Until then, until next time, as always, thank you for watching. Thanks for your support. You guys are awesome, especially anybody that's listening to this point. You are amazing, and you're the reason we do this, and keep coming back to try and solve the mysteries of the automotive world with you. So, thanks so much for your support, and until next time, stay tuned to Flatirons Tuning.
You guys are the real ones.
Thanks everyone for tuning in to the Flatirons Syndicate Motorsports Podcast. Once again, we'd like to let you know that your support is what makes this show possible. Be sure to check out our online store at flatirons.com for any of your aftermarket or OEM Subaru parts needs. And as always, stay tuned with Flatirons Tuning.